Looks like we got 22 out there so far. Nice to see you all. All right. I'm going to just maximize this screen. Here we go. Present. Okay, so today's title of the meeting is 1.5 weeks left in qualifying round. So the theme is what we're going to do is make sure we're ready, and we're going to go over just something we covered back in May when, and I don't know, based on who's participating or not, some of you may have been in middle school when we covered this topic last time. So anyway, are we getting recording, Ms. Wood?
Yes, we are.
Okay. All right, we'll get started. And I see Mr. Rodriguez joined us. Are you there, Mr. Rodriguez? On audio? Looks like his audio isn't up yet, but he'll probably be on shortly.
Okay, oh, online.
There he is. Hi. Okay. All right. So for the 23 of you, we're going to get started, and then as people dial in late, they may miss something and they may get that uncomfortable question that comes. But anyway, here we go. All right. First of all, just some general announcements. We have Mr. Claudio, who's been working with us, and he's from Red Hat, has started putting together an image that is a Fedora-based image. And, you know, we all work in Ubuntu for the competitions, but Fedora is very well known Linux. In fact, it's used a lot in the government and computer systems all throughout the world. And he has a lot of tools and a lot of expertise in Fedora, so he helped us get started on that. And I put an image out onto the Google Drive, and it's still in work, but we're going to turn it into actually an image that will do its own scoring, and we can then add other things to score on there as we go. So should be fun. And I'm really excited because we need all the help we can get. If you have a parent that is interested in helping to, you know, do some of the cyber security education stuff, be sure to let Ms. Wood know, or just talk to your parents and let them volunteer. We need that. Okay, next announcement is we need more subscribers to the Cyber Patriot YouTube channel. So we're going to do this live. So hopefully you're in front of your computer. There we go. And we can go to the Cyber Patriot YouTube channel. There it is. We have 42 subscribers as of this moment. So I want to see if we can get anybody else on the subscriber. And I'm having trouble because I want to refresh this. All right, still have 42. So anybody out there in the chat window not subscribed yet? So I'm waiting. Okay, we just saw somebody subscribe. This feels like you know, like we're doing a telethon. Got another subscriber. All right. Okay. 44. 2 more. Nice. All right. Let's see if we can get to 50. Come on. Anybody? Is anybody left? So what we're doing, what helps about this is that when we are finishing these GoTo meetings, we post them here to our YouTube channel, but also we're starting to collect playlists of other people's contributions. And this is a great way. You see a notification when something's been posted, and it's great to see all the stuff on there. The other thing is, I had been putting some of the stuff from last year is on my channel, but I'm going to move them onto this channel so that they're right here. There's a playlist where you can see it. Okay, Chloe's asking, can anyone cut and paste the link into the chat? There you go, nice and easy. The nice thing is that I'm going to actually, instead of having to go to a separate playlist, we're going to actually get all our GoTo Meeting videos in here, and then we can organize them. And as I said a little while ago, we wanted you guys to do the thing that you are used to doing, and that is when you watch a video, if you like it, give it a little like, and that's the way we can tell which videos you guys are interested in, which ones are useful to you, and then that'll save us time. We can save your peers time too. So, all right, I'm going to refresh one more time, and I know there's probably some people still catching up, but when at the end of the meeting, maybe we'll do a quick check on that. So back to our regularly scheduled program. All right. Oh, I misspelled announcements here. Mrs. Wood or Maya, are there any announcements out there for the Cyber Patriots?
Yes, I'm going to take back the screen really quick, if that's okay, Mr. Bush.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just for a moment. I'm really happy you guys did a great job with subscribing here. I want to make sure that we keep that up. I wanted to show us in the Google Drive, underneath where it says student created images 12-117. There will be a multitude of images in here this week. You've got one already from Landon Harley. He did Windows Server 2016. And you've got a Ubuntu 17 practice image that has a scoring engine that was built by Bill Patterson, a former Cyber Patriot. So go out there and go ahead and start trying these. If you have never made an image before, go ahead and try it. It does not take that long. Landon, yours is not complete. Okay. Well, it's there if people want to try it and see what's going on. Okay. The second thing is that it is Geek Week as of next week. We are celebrating National Computer Science Week at South High by doing a whole week of STEM. What we are doing is on Monday and Tuesday, Cyber Patriot is going to be responsible for doing a 1 hour of code during lunch, but really it's 35 minutes of code. So come out to the library, bring your friends, and go ahead and we can help out each other and play some of those hour of code games and build some cool games there on that website. The other thing is Maya said that her sound is not working, so she can't jump in as of audio, but do not forget to sign up for the Remind app. She has been sending messages left and right through that Remind app, and if you are not signed up for that, you are missing out. So please, please, please make sure. Maya just posted the class code is at SHS Cyber. SHS Cyber. So take a look at that for the Remind. There's been some questions about the Capture the Flag tournament. Maya and Melina, during Cyber Geek Week, we are going to be hosting a CTF tournament, and Maya and Melina have put it together, and we will have something posted up to you guys by Monday so that you can start checking it out. It is basically a really awesome way to become a really good Googler. It's a great opportunity to kind of get used to what a CTF is. And after the Cyber Patriot competitions are over, we will get you guys kind of enrolled into some outside CTFs that are available. The other thing that is not very computer sciencey related, but it's more STEMmy related, is that we are going to be holding a trebuchet challenge. So that if you would like to launch water balloons at Dr. McDowell, he said that anyone who can hit him with a water balloon with a trebuchet, he will be standing on the steps of the library. If you can hit him, he'll buy you lunch. So you are challenged to make a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot trebuchet and launch those water balloons in the mall. I believe Science Club on Wednesday is going to be blowing things up in the mall. On Thursday, Aerospace is going to be shooting off bottle rockets and all kinds of cool stuff. And then, of course, Monday and Tuesday, we'll be in the library doing coding and whatnot. Wednesday is Revenge of the Nerds Day, so make sure you dress up as yourselves. And Friday is Meme Day, but we also have our second round of our competition on Friday. So they are saying also, besides memes, dress up something that is computer codey type of things. So, Chloe, I'm sad that you've never seen Revenge of the Nerds. Mr. Bush, you need to rectify that situation stat. So
Well,
make sure that we get that. Please also, as Maya is saying in the chat right now, if you can help on Monday and Tuesday at lunch, please text or email her as soon as possible. Make sure you are helping out. Please send at least 1 to 2 people per team to help out, and encourage your friends to go. Because we want to expose as many people as we can to our amazing computer science world that we have started at South High. You guys have done a really great job at South as getting the word out that this is a really awesome thing, and that we should be pursuing it. So I'm very excited to see what our future holds. Don't forget, next Friday is our second round. I will be posting on the Shutterfly a volunteer for snacks again. Please don't forget snacks. Don't forget comfy clothes. This is a dig in and get ready type of round, because you've got 3 images plus the Cisco packet tracer and the quiz. So we've had lots of warnings about it. You've got Windows 10, Windows 7, Ubuntu, and those the Cisco situations where you've got the tracer and the quiz. You should bring snacks. Bring snacks. Okay, you are gonna definitely need food. Okay, we will probably have a sign up for either some pizza or Chinese chicken salad. We haven't quite figured that out yet, but we will definitely get some signups for food out there for you guys so you can get fed. But again, remember to bring lunch. There will always be candy. I will always have candy for you. We've always got water and whatnot. But again, we'll have a sign up so that we will definitely have some snacks and whatnot there. Okay. All right, Mr. Bush, I think that is all. Maya, anything else you want to throw in the chat window? That chat was going back pretty quick, so I couldn't see everything that was going. Media forms. Yes. Thank you, Ashley. You guys, we need those media forms filled out and brought back in no later than next Thursday. Cyber Patriot has asked for photographs of you guys and what you're doing, so to be featured in their upcoming articles. So we want to make sure that we can get approval of people to be photographed or videotaped. Arin, go ahead and ask your question about them. We are having a Chipotle fundraiser on December 21st. More info on that to come from Justin Cho. Do not forget to get your teacher excuse forms signed. Those are in the Dropbox, and they were attached to the email I sent out on Monday. Anything else? No? Okay. Mr. Bush, it's all yours.
Okay. So as I get back control, I noticed there's a bunch more people that joined us a little bit late. At the beginning, we were out there making sure everyone is subscribed to the Cyber Patriots channel. So please sign up. We're trying to get at least 50 people. We've got 47 right now. And so please, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, do that. And we're going to go back now to our program. So a couple quick reminders. So we want you to be an active participant in these GoTo meetings. That's the best way to learn. Also, classroom behavior, meaning when you're using the chat, which is what we want you to do, we want you to contribute, we want you to talk, make sure you're not just goofing around and that you're actually contributing. So one thing what I've found is that when I ask you guys questions, you pay attention better. So I'm going to ask questions and then I'll expect you to remember what the answers were. And so I'll come back and try and quiz people on what those questions were. All right. So first of all, we're going to cover getting ready for the next competition, which we won't spend a lot of time on. And then we'll go back to the cyber threat vocabulary, which we covered back in May when many of you may have been in middle school. Anyway, here we go. All right, how do you qualify for platinum? Well, this link right here is a link to the official scores, and I already got them downloaded. So I always have a problem getting out of this mode. There we go. All right, I put them into an Excel spreadsheet. On the main sheet, there's a weird thing, you can't cut and paste from it because I guess they're afraid of people manipulating it. But figured out a way to get around that, and I was able to cut and paste. There were, and I have it here at the top, in the last competition for the open division, which is what we're part of. There were 2,027 teams. Okay. Our team that was our team that had a perfect score, that was the Firewall Nation. They were in the top 47. There were only 47 teams out of all of them that got a perfect score. So that is pretty amazing when you consider how many people out there. The average, as you can see, was 169. So and the median is 178. Does anybody know what the difference is between the average and the median is? I'm looking at the chat there. Ah, Chloe knows. So the Cisco was not 50 points. It was 22 points for Cisco. So you got 100 for each of the tools. Okay, Ashley says median is in the middle and averages all the scores together. That's right. So what you can see is that the median means like the ones that were the most frequent was 178.91. And the average, if you include the people who like got very low scores or lower scores, it drags things down. So think about your score and where did you end up? Were you above the median? Were you above average? Where did you fit? Then I calculated a place because they don't give us the time. I think that they do give you a credit for finishing earlier, but so all these teams are in the first place, and then there's a bunch of tied for second place here, and so forth. So I'm going to put this back out on there so you can see which place you got and where you fit. But just remember, as you're thinking about trying to get to the best place, which is, remember, there is the gold level, then there's, there's silver level, gold level, and then platinum level. So right now, definitely Firewall Nation's on track to do the platinum. Justice was asking about the scores. Cisco will not be worth 100 points, I'm pretty sure, but it's something we can look at. Maybe. Okay, thank you, Ms. Wood, for answering that. All right, so we'll crunch these numbers a bit more and see how we're doing, but at least you know if you're above average, you're above the median, or whatever. So and the way they decide how you get into the different rounds is based on percentage. So you need to figure out, and we could probably calculate based on the percentage, like the top 10% go to the platinum round, and then I think it's top 20. I can't remember what the percentages were, but all right. So now it's time to get organized. All right, this is question and answer time. And we did talk about this. There was a video you guys watched for one of the GoTo meetings, and that big question is, what should you have ready? Let's see what answers we have in the chat. Come on, people, it's only 1.5 weeks. Checklist, yes. Okay, Joy threw out scripts, that's good. Yeah, you should have Google. Focused mind, your brain. Yeah, now think about it as you're getting ready, like you're packing for a trip. What do you need to have? So you should be thinking about, before that competition, getting all your checklists organized, getting as much information as you can, and getting that all ready. So the checklist, just getting organized, is really important. And all right, now here's another question. What is super important to do during the competition? Eat. Okay, Google's important, of course. All right, I like that. Work with your team if you get stuck. That's really important. I have a particular thing in mind. Something that the videos, never quit is really good. That's really good. Take a walk when you're stuck is good. That's really good. Work the full hour, 6 hours. Use your resources. Ask your team for help. I'm saying that for Simon, since you're not supposed to ask other people. All right, so those were all really good answers. So now I don't feel bad giving you what was actually in my head. What I was going to say was, it's really important to write down what you did as you do it, especially if it got you points, because you will inevitably sometimes do something to make it so you can't access your computer. And what's that called? When you can't get into the computer? Bricking, yes. Locked out is true too. All right, last competition, there were people that were like, do I have 30 minutes to recreate all the points? Or I just stop now? And I had a couple stop. If you had it all written, you knew, then that's it. So, okay. There's a typo in the asking. Okay. Ask your team. Thank you. Ask your team. Okay. So the next thing is ask your team. Who needs help? So as I've gotten around and talked to different teams, I found out that some of your teams are really highly functioning, where everybody's contributing. There's like, all 5 of you or 6 of you are doing the maximum to get through this. Other teams, though, I've hit people where they say there's a couple people that are like dead wood. They don't really contribute much. And ask yourself or ask your team, if if somebody's not contributing, what do they need? What kind of help do they need? Ask them, and then try to get them that help so you can do that. So, all right, why don't we go to the previous presentation? And this one was done back in May, and it's a lot of fun. That's why Mrs. Wood wanted us to cover it again. All right. Sorry for jumping around there, folks. Okay. All right. Okay. What we're going to talk about is several cyber threats. Mr. Rodriguez and I did this last year, and we recorded it, so it's actually out there. But we're going to do it again. This way, people who are new could participate. A lot of the stuff we're covering is on the Cyber Patriot site. So if you haven't been there, you can go into this presentation and click on the link. But it's basically, and I'll do that right now. There's a lot of briefings, and here are a lot of the threats that we're going to talk about today and explain what they are. Okay. So we're going to cover botnets, buffer overflows, denial of service, malware, phishing, rootkits, spyware, and Trojans, which we're not going to cover. Sorry. And okay. So first question is, what's a bot? And this is your chance to jump in to the chat with some ideas. Bot is short for robot. That's good. But what does it mean in the context of cybersecurity? Anyone? Okay, Brennan, that's a good answer. It spams your computer by making other computers spam it. Andy says a program that automatically does something like send a virus every 24 hours or something. It's not exactly that, but although there is something about bots that is about automatically responding to things. Program which affects other programs by itself. That's a pretty good answer. All right, well, you've probably heard in the news some things about Twitter bots, and that is where instead of it being a person sending a tweet, you find out it's actually a computer, and the computer is out there maybe making it look like you got lots of hits. So there's actually companies that you can go out there and say, you know what, I want a lot more retweets, so I will pay a company to create a set of bots that are just, you know, they're not individual people, but they set up a bunch of accounts, and then those bots will retweet your tweet, and it makes it look like that you're getting a lot more interest than you really are. That's an example of a bot. Now, in the case of cybersecurity, you've got to worry about botnets. And anybody know what a botnet is? Yeah, we should get a botnet for the for our channel. Okay, Landon brought this up. Botnets use multiple bots to repeat one action. A group of infected computers. That's a really good answer, Ashley. And Brendan's saying a ton of computers trying to spam your computer. They might be, or they might be actually doing an attack on your computer. And Ashley's saying they're used for DDoS attacks, and we're going to cover DDoS a little bit later. But okay, so sometimes people don't keep their systems up to date, or they download some software they shouldn't, and they're on the internet, and their computer gets taken over. Well, you know, an individual computer hacker could get into your computer and go through your files possibly, or do something like that. But more likely what they do is they turn your computer into sort of a zombie. And what it'll do then is, unbeknownst to you, it's sitting there, it's waiting for the mothership to talk to it and then take it over. And one hacker, instead of controlling one computer, controls a network of computers. So think of, instead of just one, think of hundreds or thousands of computers. And so it's really dangerous, because by your uncle, your cousin, your grandma maybe has their computer sitting on the net, and they don't ever mess with their security settings, and they get attacked and their computer gets taken over. So there you go. Your grandma's computer is now being used for attacks on things like our electrical grid, or for stealing passwords from companies. So that's what's dangerous about botnets. And you can click on this link to find more. Okay, what's a buffer overflow? Landon says buffer overflow is a problem in C. It's in the C language. There is a good chance of buffer overflows, because it's so open and it doesn't put a lot of constraints on you. Landon was good. The buffer overflow itself is actually the problem causes the vulnerability, but it's not necessarily exploited. So when you exploit a buffer overflow, that is when you are actually exploiting it and putting malicious code in. That's where Landon's answer was. So let's click on one of these links here. And I'm realizing, Ms. Wood, it's 7:33. Maybe I can just do a couple more, and then we can save some of the content for later. What do you think? Okay, good. So maybe we'll just stop at this one. I don't want to overwhelm people. So here's a link, and it's in there about a buffer overflow. So what happens is a computer's software memory is all actually in one big memory chip. The chips aren't actually divided internally. So the computer actually divides the memory into blocks, because it wants to have some places that are protected, which is here in the heap, and you have program instructions. These are things that the computer doesn't want you to mess with. Buffers, they're temporary addresses and things that your programs will use as they're running. So if you think about the operating system, it's keeping track of all this. It's trying to protect its own memory, the heap. It's giving out memory it needs to, and so forth in these buffers. Now, what happens in a buffer overflow is that the programs that are running, they run into a problem where they go over the edge of the memory that they've been given. So here's the memory that they're working in, and if it overruns, then it writes into this space, which is a return address. It says what the next step is to do. Well, what happens is when you overrun the buffer, you can actually write into this memory and change the address, and then that sends instructions into places that it shouldn't be. And so that's how the attack works at a high level. Let's click on one of the other links and see if there's another picture here. A big reason, here's a good buffer overflow. The buffer is 8 bytes, and so you can hold the word username. But if you put in something that is bigger than username, it's 2 spaces over, it overruns the edge and causes an overflow. And the main thing you need to learn from a buffer overflow is one, is that it is a huge weakness in software programming. So when you're actually, and some of you probably go on to be computer scientists and software engineers, if you are not careful, you can create the actual things that can be exploited by hackers in your code. And in fact, a lot of what we hear about when there's been an exploit is the programming was bad. So what is the thing? Brennan asked, will we encounter this in the next tournament? And I would say yes and no. My answer is no, not directly, but what do we do as part of Cyber Patriots to prevent these sorts of things? What are the kinds of things that we do? So password attempt limits, that's not what I'm looking for. Find and fix flaws, that's closer. Don't click on random links. That could be because if you click on a random link, you may find yourself someone actually exploiting a buffer overflow. Yes, Andrew Sanders, very good. That is the answer, is updates. And the reason is because as companies like Microsoft or really any of them, Firefox, as they find these problems like buffer overflow problems, they release a patch to fix it because it's actually in the programming. So the only way to fix it is to release an update to the software. So when you get those updates, the security updates, then that is how you can fix some of these problems. So that's that. I wonder if anyone heard in the news what recently happened with Apple. Anyone out there? No? Just happened a couple days ago. Chloe, you know? Anyone else? Hi, Sierra. Yeah, Ashley and right. So something that's interesting is that was an example where a new release software actually introduced a problem. So even though you're solving other problems, you may introduce new ones. There is something though, as a cyber patriot, you may have been able to use because the Apple Mac OS uses Linux. Actually, it's Unix as its background. You could have gone to the terminal window just like you do with Linux and used sudo and changed the password of the root login. And if you had done that, you would have avoided the problem. And I did that this morning to protect my computer. So we got through a few things, and I know it was fast on buffer overflows, and it's kind of a tricky concept, but all this stuff really is important to understand because, and we didn't get to denial of service, although I think Ashley brought that up. So we'll cover more of that next time, or maybe another time after that, but I think we'll try to keep it not too long tonight. Anything anyone wants to say? I'll just go around. Mrs. Wood, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I'm okay. Thank you. You guys did great today.
Okay, great. Mr. Rodriguez, do you want to say anything?
No, good presentation.
I'd like to say something, though I just remembered. So Mr. Rodriguez and I know we should share this before in previous briefings or previous meetings, but we've been working on the Cyber Patriot Wiki, and Mr. Rodriguez and I were talking about how we can teach you guys how to actually use this and edit it, and so that's coming in the future. But also during the competition, you might want to check on this. There is a lot of stuff in there. It's still in its sort of raw format, but there's an Ubuntu checklist here with lots of good stuff in it. So the link is on the Shutterfly site, so if you can find it. That's just one little tidbit. All right, well, I'll also just check with Maya again as the president. Maya, did you have anything you want to add? Nope. All right, well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time.